Hey guys, this is Kelly. I have another process video for you today. This layout is using a couple of papers that I had left over from some of my hip kits, and then I pulled in some Amy Tangerine items from my stash. This layout that I am doing is just one of those everyday pictures. My daughter had an obsession with hand sanitizers, and she would clip them on her shorts, and as she was playing, she'd squirt one of them, and it was really cute for that little period of time. She just liked the smells, and all the little girls in her school were doing it, so I figured there were worse things that she could be obsessing over. So I took this picture on a whim one day, and I was so glad I did, because she had forgotten about this love in her life at that time. So I'm just taking some of these papers that I had and trimming them and just trying to see where I want this layout to go. I really wanted bright colors to pop off that black background, and I loved that yellow but didn't want to do too much of the yellow, so I was really happy with how bright that little strip of yellow made the layout. And I decided that I wanted um, another strip of black and white, just because I liked the pop that that black and white strip gave to the layout as well. So I am pretty happy with the way that those paper layers are coming together, and I'm going ahead and sticking them down, and I'm using the edge of my layout just to help get things lined up. I'm usually pretty good at lining things up once I have the initial one or two, pages or papers lined up, but I didn't want it to be so crooked that it would drive me crazy with those thick black and white stripes. So I just went through the paper pad and was cutting up a couple of the cut aparts, and I was going to see if I could use a couple of them on this layout. And that piece that I'm trying to work around now will not make it on, but I will fussy cut that camera, and I'm really happy with the way that turned out. It's really neat how you can take an item from either like a 3x4 or 4x6 card and fussy cut it, and it just completely changes the look. And plus, it's an embellishment from the piece of paper, so perfect. So I really did like that big black and white camera. It was bold and just what this layout needed, and I am going to find a place for it in the bottom left-hand corner. So at this point, I have decided that I am going to outline all of my papers, and I'm just choosing the width of the pen mark that I wanted, and I went pretty bold with this one, and just I'm outlining all of the pieces of paper, and that just helps make things look like they belong together. If you have several different papers, especially from different manufacturers, or even different like color tones, like one has maybe a white base and the other one's a little bit creamier based, and you outline the paper layers, it really just brings everything together. And with this layout, I really liked how it brought those papers together even more. So I should have done this before I put the picture down, but it really wasn't a big deal. And I'm not such a perfectionist to where if the line's not straight, it's fine with me on this look. So I decided to go into my project life cards because I knew that I had some of the +1 project life cards, and pulled out one so that I would be able to do a little journaling on, and then pulled out another so that I would be able to layer it behind the photo mat. And I haven't figured out quite yet that I haven't stuck everything down and it starts moving, and I can't stand that. So I went ahead and started putting some things down. That way I could figure out just where I wanted that card and how far over it needed to go. So when I'm going through my project life cards, I'm trying to do it pretty quickly and figure out what I'm gonna like, uh, what colors work, or if it's something that has a saying such as that this happened. It's me just trying to really quickly make a decision on what could possibly um, work, and I'm just flipping through pretty quickly, and I end up with one that I really liked the way it just highlighted the journaling that I wanted to do for this page. And that is the card that I chose with the arrow. And I decided, even though these edges weren't straight, that I was going to outline it as well. And usually I like my, you know, the corners to match, but I didn't mind this one being rounded because I knew that if I had trimmed it down, it would just take away the style of the card and it wouldn't look as good. So I went through and got out the Cal Barteski thickers. I have them in white and pink, and I wasn't sure which ones I wanted to use, but the pink ones just really popped off, and I loved the way that they looked on that black background. I'm just going to pull off my title and put it on wax paper so I can figure out where I would like the placement to be. And I'm going ahead and committing to that journaling card and sticking that down, and I did put the camera up with some foam tape just to add some dimension. So before I stuck down my title, I decided that I wanted to put some white splatters, and I didn't want them to get on the pink foam because it would just mess up the color of the foam. Sometimes I don't mind it, but I did not want it on this one. These types of layouts are my favorite, I think, to do for my kids, showing their little quirks and their personality. And, like I said earlier, my daughter had completely forgotten about, her love affair with hand sanitizers. And, I tell people that I wish that we had the cell phone cameras when my kids were younger, because I would have captured so many more of these little memories. And it kind of makes me sad, but it's just how it goes. That's life. And you know our parents had less than we do. So anyway, I pulled out another Amy Tangerine embellishment and liked the way that pink flag brought some more of that pink on the black and white. And I have pulled out these enamel dots. These were from one of the hip kits, and I really had trouble using these enamel dots. They're so big, and I was happy to be able to use 3 of them on this layout. And I wanted the insides to pop out so that you could see the shape. It was a plus sign and a heart and like a chevron arrow. And so I just backed them with little pieces of paper and really liked the way that turned out. Then I'm taking my Wink of Stella and just putting a light coating of the glitter in the middle of those enamel dots, and that really just helps it to pop. And of course, you got to pull out your enamel dots. I love my enamel dots and like to pepper them throughout the page. I do decide to move that chevron arrow. I wanted to make more of a visual triangle. So with the bottom left being, for me, the anchor with the journaling and with the camera, and the top with the banner, the other point. And then I am going to move that chevron arrow to the bottom right hand side of the picture. And that way it leads your eye around the picture and the title and the journaling. So I think that is just about it for me. And I do have some stills at the end. And thank you so much for watching and leaving your comments. I truly appreciate them. I'll see you next time. Bye.